Have you ever met someone who made time feel irrelevant? Maybe they were older, wiser, or much younger, but for a moment, the space between your years dissolved, and all that remained was recognition. The kind that feels ancient, the kind that doesn't ask for permission. Let me tell you why that happens. Part why. The unexpected connection. Age difference is visible, but connection isn't. When they first saw you, they weren't measuring your years. They were responding to energy, something Jung called the anima or animus, the projected image of our ideal counterpart, emerging from deep within the unconscious. Sometimes that image finds form in someone decades apart, because the soul doesn't count years. It recognizes patterns, symbols, and something it's been missing. Think of Jennifer, 42, practical, successful, and content. She never expected to fall for Daniel, 29, an artist who is still finding himself. But his openness, his fascination with life, mirrored the vitality she had buried under responsibility. To her surprise, he didn't see her as older. He saw her as radiant, alive, and mysterious. And for him, Jennifer was grounding. She made his chaos meaningful. They were opposites, but not opposites fighting, opposites completing. Part 2. The psychology of attraction across age. The American psychologist Erik Erikson said that love often bridges the gap between the stages of development. We are drawn to what we unconsciously need to integrate. The younger one often seeks depth, stability, or meaning. The older one often seeks renewal, spontaneity, or emotional truth. Each gives the other a missing piece of their psychological puzzle. In Jungian terms, this can be seen as an act of individuation. Two people helping each other grow into wholeness. But social conditioning often interferes. Society whispers, "It's wrong. It won't last." They just want something. And yet the psyche doesn't care about approval. It seeks balance. Part 3. The inner dialogue. At some point you might ask yourself, why me? Why now? When someone falls for you across an age difference, it's rarely about coincidence. It's about timing, what the Greeks called kairos, the opportune moment when something in both lives aligns for growth. Maybe they saw in you an echo of their future, or maybe you saw in them a reflection of your past. Either way, the unconscious recognizes its counterpart long before logic can explain it. Part 2. The fear of judgment and the search for authenticity. Still, both people feel it. The weight of other people's opinions. What will people say? Do they only see me as safe? Here is the paradox. Authentic relationships often ask you to stand apart from other people's definitions. The philosopher Søren Kierkegaard wrote, "To love is to risk losing oneself, and that risk grows larger when age becomes part of the equation. Because now you're not only defying norms, you're confronting time itself." So they test it. This feeling, they pull back. They overanalyze. They worry that it's projection. You sense it too. You both circle each other, afraid, yet drawn closer by something beyond reason. Part 6. The unconscious dance. When he looks at you or she looks at you, there is a flicker, something ancient. Jung would say you have activated each other's archetypes. The lover and the beloved, the mentor and the student, the healer and the dreamer. And sometimes these roles shift. The teacher becomes the learner. The pursuer becomes the pursued. This dance is not always easy. The tension between experience and innocence, wisdom and curiosity creates friction. And friction, as every alchemist knows, creates transformation. Part 6. Beyond age, the spiritual mirror. What if beyond the visible gap? This is not a relationship between two ages, but between two mirrors, each showing the other who they really are beneath identity. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "What is beautiful in one soul calls out to the beauty in another." Maybe that is what happened. Beauty called beauty beyond time. Even if it doesn't last in the conventional sense, the encounter itself leaves a mark. As Jung said, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Part 7. Case Reflections. History gives us examples. Rainer Maria Rilke and Lou Andrea Salome. She was his mentor, his muse. Older by 14 years, their love was not perfect, but it awakened his poetry and shaped his soul. Or think of modern lives. Two people crossing paths at different stages. One discovering independence, the other relearning vulnerability. Their connection challenges them. Can I love beyond expectation? Can I trust what I feel when logic disapproves? Part 8. Speaking to you, the listener. Maybe someone like this is already in your life. Maybe younger, maybe older. And maybe it confuses you. Don't rush to define it. Don't drown it in labels. Ask yourself instead, what truth about myself is this person showing me? Because love that defies categories is not about rule-breaking. It is about awakening. It says time does not command the heart. Presence does. So if they fell for you despite the age difference, maybe it is not only about attraction, maybe it is the universe saying, it is time to meet yourself through them. Part 9. Age difference. What actually matters? Here is where many people get confused. Age difference itself is not what makes a relationship. Healthy or unhealthy, people assume a smaller age gap means fewer problems. That is simply not true. You can be the same age and still be emotionally incompatible. You can grow up together and still grow in opposite directions. Age proximity does not guarantee emotional maturity. And age difference does not automatically mean imbalance. What truly matters is energy. How alive someone is. How present they are. How they take care of themselves. Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, psychologically. Someone who lives with intention, who respects their body, who continues to grow, often carries a kind of youth that numbers cannot explain, and someone who neglects themselves, who lives in resentment, who stops evolving, can feel old at any age. That is why some people in their 40s or 50s radiate vitality, and some people in their 20s already feel tired. Youth is not an age. It is an inner posture. It is how you relate to life. This is where self-care truly begins. Not the superficial kind, but real self-care that, knowing when to rest, knowing when to push, knowing your boundaries, and respecting your own time. Self-respect creates aura, not arrogance but aura, the kind of presence that does not need to announce itself. That presence is what people are attracted to. Not age, not status, not titles. Confidence rooted in self-knowledge is far more magnetic than youth alone. This is why age difference sometimes fades into the background and sometimes becomes unbearable. It depends on whether both people are living in alignment or whether one is trying to borrow the other's energy to survive. A healthy relationship does not drain. It amplifies. If one person feels they are shrinking, losing themselves, or constantly explaining their existence, something is off. And that has nothing to do with age. So when people ask, is age difference a problem? The honest answer is sometimes, but not for the reasons. People think the real question is, are both people emotionally responsible? Are they growing, not clinging? Are they choosing each other at any circumstances? When those conditions are met mutually, age becomes background noise, just a number. But when those conditions are missing, even a small age gap can feel impossible. So if you are in a relationship with a noticeable age difference or considering one, do not ask, what will people think? Ask instead, how do I feel in my body when I am with this person? Do I feel more myself or less? Do I feel energized or diminished? Do I feel respected or tolerated? Those answers matter more than any number. In the end, love does not ask for birth dates. It asks for presence. And presence comes from self-respect, self-care, and emotional honesty. Age is a number. Energy is a language. And relationships are built on the language two people share. Love doesn't follow timelines. It responds to presence, and when two people meet in truth, time quietly steps aside. If this message resonated with you, subscribe and like.